Here we go.
Hi, Heather.
Hi, Leilani.
I just wanted to record this little session. Heather and I were talking last night about some things, and then I kept getting messages, and then my divine team was talking to me this morning, and it just seems like there's a huge theme going on right now, and what it's about is just letting go. So, Heather, I'm going to have you just start off by reading what we just went through. There's a little phase that Heather shared with me in Facebook, and I think it applies to what we've just been through. And then there's another phase that she's going to talk about. I've asked her to share with us so that you guys can see what we're going through as of right now.
Sure. So October 1st through the 4th, there was a active geomagnetic storm. And some of the symptoms you might have been feeling was headaches, aches and pains, dizziness, spaced out, difficulty focusing, thirst, intense hunger, cravings, extreme fatigue, very tired, vivid nightmares, irritability, panic, lots of anxiety, ear ringing, sore throat, sensitive to negativity. It's a good one. And for me, this was a good one, wanting to spend time alone.
Yeah. For me, I was really hungry and tired, extremely tired the whole week. And I'm just now getting out of that phase. So I know it had a huge impact and influence on me. And I'm sure some of you have probably felt it. You just weren't aware of it. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I just want you to talk about the other phase that you shared with me that we're going through.
Yes, we're going into Venus retrograde now. So that's from October 5th through November 16th. And that has a big focus on relationships, intense truth. Everything that's hidden is coming into light, and it's impossible to ignore. Transformation, time to make changes, find solutions, move forward, and release the past. That's good.
It is. It is time to release the past, and that's what we all have to do in order to move forward. Otherwise, we're going to continue these cycles of lessons. And I've been doing astrology for over 30 years now, and so I do know that the planets have a huge influence on our behaviors. We're energy bodies. We're just in a physical vessel holding everything together. But the moon, even if you look at it, it impacts the ocean tides, something that big water body of water out there, and we think something so minute as the moon couldn't possibly impact the oceans because the oceans are so large, but they do. It does, and it changes it twice a day. The tides go in, the tides go out, and that's a direct correlation to the influence of the moon. And so here we are, we're 70% water, and with that, we're more easily influenced by the moon, but also the outer planets, and also the personal planets is what they call them. And so Venus is the planet of love. It's all about nurturing and helping, and love comes in many, many, many forms, different forms, and it doesn't have to necessarily be an intimate relationship that you receive or give love in. Love comes and goes all around us, and it's important that we're open and receptive. And when we're not, that's when it gets bottlenecked and we have difficulty. So it's time for us to open up and really be receptive to all these different forms of love, not just receiving, but also giving. So anyway, I'm going to, I titled this Letting Go, and that's really what it's all about, is just letting go. So last night, Heather and I were having a conversation about things that had happened in my past. And when I was sharing those things with her, she'd never heard them before, and it's a crazy story. I won't even get into it here, but I have several crazy stories throughout my life that have happened to me, and it's stuff that I couldn't make up because it's so ridiculous, but I can laugh about it now. At that time, when she and I were talking, she said, wow, like you can laugh about it now. And I'm like, yeah, I have to, because I have gotten over it. When you can laugh about a situation that's happened to you in the past, that's when you know that you've let go. So I was just guided this morning by my divine team to share with you guys that, if you, they were just saying that we're all being continuously tested, always, until we know that we've passed the test. We're being graded. We have to, of course, grade ourselves. So when you're going through these episodes of pain and drama and difficulty and unsettling events in your life, stop and just stand back, get a different perspective, and ask yourself, what is the pattern here? What is the theme that's going on throughout my life? What is it? Why, when you say, why do these things just keep happening to me? That right there is a red flag. That should tell you something. So step back, step out of it, out of the moment for just a second. Take a look at it and see if you can see something different. And if there's something that's going on around you, you need to remove yourself from it so that you can see and think clearly. And otherwise, you're going to be emotionally caught up in it. But just take a look at it and ask yourself, what is it? What is the pattern here? And then ask yourself, what is it that I am doing to create this pattern? What is it that I'm missing? Is there something that's happening that I just can't see? Ask yourself. See if it gets clearer. Ask for help, divine help, for you to see it more clearly, to know, hear, feel, see, and understand the truth. And when you do that, you'll begin to get some clarity. And then once you see that pattern, you need to take a look at it and grade yourself. When someone is talking to you about what's happened in the past, or you encounter that individual who harmed you or inflicted pain on you, or whatever the situation was, it could be something very simple. It could be something very dramatic that completely changed your life. But when you encounter that individual, or someone talks about that individual, or multiple people that have wronged you, do you have any emotional upheaval or reaction to it? Check in with yourself. How does your body feel? And if you are emotional about it, or you feel your temperature rising, or your blood pressure raising, or you start crying about it, or you just get angry, upset over it, then you have not learned that lesson. And that's when you've got to continue to repeat until you have learned that you actually have a role in that. So one of the things that really helped me, I didn't realize I was healing from one of the things that had happened to me in my past, but I have this book called Your Soul's Plan by Robert Schwartz. An excellent book. Oops, there we go. You can see it.
Yeah,
So Your Soul's Plan, Discovering the Real Meaning of the Life You Planned Before You Were Born. And what he talks about, he has an interview on YouTube with Wisdom from the North is what they're called. It's a woman who just interviews people. And it's an excellent interview. So I saw that interview first, and then I found out about the book and read the book. And I highly recommend it. But what occurred to me was, what he pointed out is that, like Shakespeare said, we're all actors on the stage of life. And that is so true. We really are actors in our lives. And we plan it all out to the smallest detail, according to Robert Schwartz. And I believe that now. I do. We can do different things and we can take detours in our life depending on what experiences our soul wants to enjoy or participate in, or if we're helping someone else grow. Um, we can take those detours, but what's really important is to realize, hey, I chose to have that experience. It sounds crazy and bizarre, and how dare we do that to ourselves, make it miserable for us, but it's true. It's true. And when you realize you had a choice, it's all about choices. You had a choice then as a soul in what you were going to do. You have a choice now as a physical being, whether you're going to participate in it or if you're going to get emotionally involved in it or if you're going to walk away. How is it going to affect you? So are you going to take action or are you going to have a reaction? Hopefully you're acting and not reacting, because when you're acting you realize, okay, I'm just another actor, actress on this stage, and that person cannot hurt me because it's all about my choices and how I respond to them. I heard something a while ago that said, your karma is this, blah, blah, blah. Although I don't believe in karma anymore, that doesn't exist. But what it is the other person's actions towards you is their karma, but your response is your karma, is really what it was saying. And that's true. How you respond or choose to respond to them determines your reality. So if you're going to be emotionally upset by someone else doing something to you, realize that you have a responsibility to decide how much of an impact or how emotionally responsive you're going to be to that individual and what they're doing. If you realize you have a choice, you're an actor or an actress, the game is up. They can't harm you anymore. And that's when the real healing begins, when you realize you have responsibility. So, and then, so when you realize, okay, I'm still having these emotions, you need to continue learning. That's a lesson that you need to learn. But when you have no emotional reaction, except you can laugh about it like I did, or I can, then you accept the responsibility for the role that you played in it. And that right there is really what forgiveness is. Because Heather and I were talking earlier tonight, and it was obvious that we realized when you can laugh about the situation, that's when you have truly healed. And people just don't realize what forgiveness means. It's not about forgetting. You'll always probably remember, especially if it's an emotional wound that's been caused by someone else. You'll never forget. And it's not that you are supposed to forget. They say forget and forgive and forget. No, you will never forget. And it's unwise to forget. Otherwise, you're just covering up something that needs to be exposed. And yet, forgiveness is really about having no more emotional, highly charged emotional reaction to it. That's really what it is, because you realize, hey, I had a part in it. So anyway,
Yeah.
do you want to add to that?
I was listening to a guided meditation, and one of the parts stood out, and it was you can learn your lessons with grace and ease instead of pain and trauma. And and that's kind of like what you're saying. When you get to that point where you're not reacting, but you're staying in the moment and you're allowing this trauma to happen to you, and you decide how you're going to act.
Yeah.
Instead of having that reaction of what that other person wants you to feel.
Yeah. 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 So true. So true. And that's really what it is, Grace. It's about gratitude. Thank you for teaching me this lesson. Thank you for making me a stronger individual. Thank you for helping me to understand what it is, or bring awareness into my life in areas that I needed to learn about. I needed to grow, because otherwise life would be boring if we weren't growing, right?
Yeah.
and and we as souls often choose the most difficult life path so that we can grow. Life here on earth as a human being is one of the most difficult um, incarnations that we can have. But we learn. It's a short amount of time that we live as human beings. So we learn very quickly. Most of us do. We learn very quickly in a short amount of time. Some of us never learn. We're doomed to repeat it. And I think that's what this video is all about, is just awareness, so that we can respond in a way that we're acting, not reacting. And we have the tools that we need. We have everything inside of us to respond with love and compassion. And when we do that from a place of our heart, that's when the healing happens for everyone involved. You know, as Eric Meadow said, um, feel first, think second. So that's really what it is. If we think first, then we're going to react. But if we feel first, we're going to respond.
Right. So, Corey Good talks a lot about, dealing with your trauma, your past trauma, before you can ascend. So, do you have any like tips or tricks on how to do that? Like, what do you do? What do you do if something happened to you in your childhood and you never really dealt with it and it still bothers you? Like you said, you have very strong emotions about that memory. So, how do you deal with it?
The first thing, I've always had the motto, communicate to educate. And when you begin to communicate with other people, you're helping them to understand, you're educating them on what happened with you. And I always tell my clients when I'm doing readings for them, it's better out than in. So when you're keeping it inside, it's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for anyone else. If you are still being bombarded by those individuals who caused that pain in your childhood, confront them. Confront them. As difficult as it is, you're no longer in their or under their control. It's all about choices. So make that choice that I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to put up with this anymore. If it's still unhealthy, remove yourself from that situation. Leave. You have that choice. Leave. You don't have to put up with it. But keep in mind, you're there as much as they are to help each other learn. So you're in a classroom, and you're each a teacher, you're each a student. You're both learning, you're both teaching, but it's still a classroom. You can get up and walk out of that classroom at any time. There's nothing there that's holding you or captive. It shouldn't. You are a free will human being, and you have the right to say enough is enough, okay, when you've learned. But if you're no longer around those individuals who caused that pain, again, it's all about communication. Write it down. I've kept a journal. Oh my gosh, I have one right here. I'll show you. Yeah, oops. Kept a journal. It's, pretty thick, for over 30 years. I write in it whenever I need to. But I tell people, that's my therapy, all of that. And it doesn't have to be read by anyone. In fact, if you want, you can burn the pages over a kitchen sink. Do it safely. But yeah, just get it out. Write. That's probably the best therapy. Go out in the woods if you can. If there's someplace, you can get away from other people and just yell at the universe and say, okay, this is it. I've had enough. And I guarantee you'll feel better when you're done. You're just getting it out. Talk about it, though. That's really what it's about. Communicate.
Right.
And yeah.
And feeling your emotions. Stop burying them. Stop trying to pretend they don't exist.
Yeah.
You need to work them. Yeah. You need to work through them. And that's how you work through your trauma.
You do.
even though they feel pretty crappy a lot of times.
Yeah,
You got to do it.
because if they're still here and you're trying to go around it, you just got to go through it because you're making it more difficult digging that hole and that tunnel all the way around when you could just go through it, get it over with, and it's done.
Right.
Oh yeah,
And you
it's
feel so much better.
you do,
A
and too
weight
often
off
we
your,
numb it though. What?
as it's like a weight comes off your shoulder.
Huge,
Feel
huge.
light. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for a long time before I had my awakening, I would feel guilt about every little stupid thing. But guilt and shame are really low vibrations. And yeah, you just got to let it go. What I was told early on by my divine team was, just like lift up those paddles, those oars, and just let the boat go. Because a lot of times when we're in those situations, it goes back to that need to control. So you felt as though someone else was controlling you when all along you were the one who was trying to control the situation. You either are trying to control by ignoring it, or you're trying to control by um, numbing it, with drugs or alcohol or medication, prescription drugs. And it's still a form of control. You're trying to control that environment when in fact all you need to do is just let go, let it flow. That's what they told me. Let go, let it flow. And when you do that, it's a huge weight that's lifted off your shoulders. You're like, okay, I cannot do this on my own, so help me out here. Help me. I need your help. I'm only human, and I've planned something in my life that's so big, I can't handle it anymore. So okay. So Eric Meadows just came in and he's like, guys, that's what happened to me. I just kept it inside and I didn't let it go. And, I ended my life. And that's not what it's about. It's about overcoming it. That's what life is overcoming those difficulties. And you can tear up those contracts at any time. Say, okay, I've had enough. This no longer serves me. Please remove anything that no longer serves me. And they can do that for you. Call on Archangel Michael and have him help you. Eric said, I wish I knew that was something I could do. I wish now, but look at the work that I'm doing. But guys, I don't want you to go that route. Not everybody's meant to be an Eric Meadows. So please don't try to be Eric.
The world can only handle one Eric.
The world can only handle one Eric. If that's true. Yeah. But I really mean that. I really mean it. So yeah, he goes, I'm getting serious here, but I really mean that. Because too often people think that's the easy way out. But when you get to my side, you realize, hey, there's so much more to learn. And look at all these other people that I impacted. Look at all this influence that I have, or that I had, or that I would have had. Oops, it's too late, So don't let it be too late. Do something now. Do something today, he says. Stay in the moment and realize you have everything within yourself. That's true. Everything within you to overcome it. And when you don't feel like it, just call on us. Ask us. Let us know. We're here to help. That's what we're here for. We signed up for it, he says. So, yeah.
Yeah. Ask for help. That's very important.
Yeah.
Anybody. You have a whole divine team surrounding you.
Yeah.
Ask. Even if you can't hear them or you feel them, eventually you will. The more you talk to them, the more you open up to them.
Yeah. The more you acknowledge that they're there, the more they want to help. Because just like humans, if you offer help and the person's not accepting it and you're ignoring them, and or they're offering help to you and you're ignoring it, pretty soon they're going to give up. They're going to, just stand over there in the corner and wait for you to realize, hey, there is someone besides myself that can help me. And so that's really what your divine team is. They're like, okay, you signed up for this. As a human, you want to learn these experiences. Okay, if you want to learn it the hard way, that's fine. But we're always going to be here. Just call on us, we'll respond. And sometimes they respond in a huge way. can knock you on your feet. So, or off your feet, I guess. But yeah, like a surprise. So anyway, and then I heard, like, the other thing I wanted to say was that if you want happiness, put more energy into yourself. You know, a lot of times we put energy into what doesn't matter, or other people. We put ourselves last. And when that happens, we get unhappy and we don't understand what it is, you know, that's causing it, when in fact we've neglected ourselves for too long. So stop. Just focus on what's important to you. Focus on how you feel and not worry about what others think. So again, you know, as I was saying with Eric, he says, you know, feel first, think second. And give up those unfulfilled expectations. That was the other theme that I have been hearing lately, you know, is we have these expectations that we put on ourselves as well as other people. And sometimes they're really harsh. they're unachievable and unfulfillable. And so they go unfulfilled. And when that happens, we get unhappy. And that unhappiness causes us to want to just end everything. And that's, you know, that's not how it should go. That's not what life here is all about. It's about finishing, you know, crossing that finish line and saying, yay, you know, I did it. And yeah, pat yourself on the back, reward yourself for things that you've accomplished, or that awareness that you've now developed. Because when you do that, then you feel like you are empowered. You know, you can achieve anything. So make a list for yourself if that will help. Write it down. All the things that you've been able to overcome or accomplish in your life, or help others overcome or accomplish in their lives. And that, you know, that's the other thing, I guess. You were asking me, what do you do to heal? You know, when you volunteer, I realized I was going through a really low point in my life, and I started volunteering at a homeless shelter. And I realized that even though I was there as a volunteer, I was the one who was getting the reward. I was the one who was getting the benefit, more so than the people that I was in service to. And when you do that, it's like magic. You realize, hey, you know, things are not so bad. Things could be a lot worse. But I'm helping. I'm here to help make it better for someone else. Even if it's, you know, a homeless person or someone who's being abused or neglected, I'm here. You know, you can help animals too. That's a great way. You know, Heather is really involved with animals. It's a great way to realize there's something out there besides yourself. And when you do that, life isn't so bad after all. You know, you realize, hey, you know, it could be a lot worse. And so that's the other thing, I guess, that helps me all the time. I have people realize, you know, I always ask me, you know, like, oh my gosh, Leilani, you know, it doesn't matter what happens to you. You're always, you know, saying, hey, you know, look at the sunny side. And it's true. You know, there always is a bright spot somewhere. Just look for it. You just have to stand back, pause for a moment, change that focus, and look at the bright spot. Look at the bright spot. If there's only one thing, find that one thing and focus on that, because what you focus on grows. It really does. So put your energy into that. Yeah.
Yeah, even just being kind to a stranger is being in service to someone else.
Yeah.
Just a hello, how are you today? To someone you don't even know.
Yeah.
You know, to open up communications.
Yeah. How are you doing? And really mean it. Listen.
And listen. Yeah.
Wait for them to respond. Don't just say, hi, how are you? And then walk off. No. Really, you know, if they don't respond and they start walking off, say, no, really, I want to know. And mean it, you know, mean it. Yeah. Yeah. How often do we say that? How are you? And then just keep walking. Yeah. And yeah, change that perspective. When they ask you, how are you doing? Instead of like, oh, you know, I don't, you know, start moaning and complaining about stuff. Say, no, I'm great, and believe it. You know, believe it. I am great. Be thankful for even just the air that you have to breathe, or the pillow that you have to sleep on at night, or the bed that you have to lay on. You're not laying on a concrete ground somewhere out in the storm. Be grateful for those things that you have. And when you show gratitude, more comes to you, and things do start to get better. That's where, when you are so down, that's where you get up from that bottom, is realizing, okay, I'm grateful for this. I have air to breathe. I'm grateful for this. I have lungs that help me to breathe. I'm grateful for the fact that tomorrow is another day and another chance to get it right. If things are not going right for you, tomorrow is another day and another chance to get it right. So
super powerful. And I think that's where the law of attraction comes into play.
mm-hmm.
Like, focusing on the positive, you will get more positive.
Yeah, and feel it. Really feel it. Feel that gratitude. Feel that awareness. Feel how it feels to have what you want. And that's where the magic happens.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, take a pause, take a breather, count to 10 backwards, or 100 if you have to. Take it, take time out. Take time out for yourself. Take a bath. The water is a great grounding mechanism. So go walk on some grass with bare feet. How often, how long? I want some of you to, you don't have to answer here, but how long has it been since you've taken off your shoes and walked on green grass with bare feet? Do it. Do it today, before it gets winter. So do it. Yeah, just do it. Find a park if you have to, if you don't have a backyard, or just find some grass, though, green grass, and just walk on it barefoot. So anyway, is there anything else, Heather?
Nope, I covered everything. That was great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. There was one more thing.
Okay, sorry.
George Carlin came through the other day. Just he not spiritually, but just as a reminder, it popped up. It says, or he said, everyone wants you to be honest with them, but when you're honest, then they think you're an asshole when you're honest with them, when you really are, something to that effect. And, sometimes we do need to be an asshole. It doesn't hurt. Honesty is really the best policy. The truth can hurt sometimes, but that honesty is what sometimes people need to hear. So stop lying. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to other people. Don't tell them I'm fine, but really feel if you're miserable, do something about it. Don't make other people miserable. Don't be an asshole intentionally, but just be honest.
Don't dwell in your negativity.
Don't dwell in the negativity.
Get through it. Feel it, get through it. Yeah.
Yeah, healing. It's all time. It's time to heal. So what was that Venus thing again? The Venus retrograde, it goes till when? The 17th?
November 16th.
16th. Okay. So you guys got from now until November 17th to heal, to be that honest person, be honest with yourself, be honest with other people.
Become your true, authentic self.
Yeah.
Now it's time.
Yeah. Try volunteering. Yeah, it's time. Yeah, I agree. So thank you, Heather.
Awesome. Thank you.
I hope this helps other people. And let's see, hang on. Nope, Eric's like, nope, that's it. you said it.
Nope.
You said what I wanted to say. So
parting words.
No. No, he's just laughing. No, thank you, he says. Thank you for listening. Yeah, I hope everyone listens to it. Oh, the suicide prevention hotline. I'll try to get that number and put it up. So, okay. All right. Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.